Peace and love, everybody. All right. This is to my so called Black or African American brothers and sisters. This conversation, I'm going to be as real as possible with you as I can. All right. First of all, I got some points that I need to make sure I hit. So, the first thing I want to say is I love you. And you're more important than words could ever begin to describe. Your personal journey in this life was fully necessary. The highs and the lows that you've gone through within the last 5 years was fully necessary. Fully necessary for you to be built up to being the person that you are right now, with the eyes that you have right now, the way that you see things. Nobody else is going to quite see it the way you see it. All right. So if nobody else is showing you the appreciation that you know is due to you, I'm letting you know right now that you are appreciated. And there's nothing that can change that. You're so unique. If you were to disappear, your fingerprint is there's never going to be another one like that comes out of a womb into this realm. All right. So that's the first thing I want to get straight to you. The unique experiences that you went through in this life was necessary in order to make you a unique body part because we are all one. We are all part of one body, this nation. All right. But the part of the body you are is unique. In a brain, you might have two hemispheres, but you're gonna have one pineal gland that sits centered right there. All right. You can't say that a pinky is more important than a big toe. All right. And you can't say that pinky isn't important because you wouldn't want to lose yours. So everybody plays a role, all right, in this nation. My second point is I want you to understand that this is your land, okay? When you went to school in these United States schools, they taught you that you're from Africa. The point of doing that is because you descend from the ancient rulers of this landmass. They gave permission to the United States to even operate as a sovereign body over their subjects on this landmass. Your parents and your parents' parents gave created contracts with this governing body. All right. And we hadn't had a government up until the last 9 years. We hadn't had a government with that flag supporting it, all right, on this landmass that represents the indigenous people of this landmass, that has a constitution, which is a supreme, which is a divine contract with the Father in order to create a state um that is lawful. All right. We have our own legislative branch. We have we have all the necessary functions that are needed in a to to operate a government. Okay, so pretty much what I'm saying is our government is not only an official government, but this is the hierarchy of governments on this landmass. Let me get it straight with you. All right. So you have the national government, which is what we're talking about right now, that flag right there, which is the flag that represents your ancestors as a so-called black man, so-called black woman. All right, that flag right there is the flag of your ancestors. You're not black, you're a Moor. This landmass was called several things, but legally it was recognized as Morocco. And they even called it Al Marikash, which means Greater Morocco. Another name was Al Mardicanos. There was a bunch of names, but they all essentially meant the Greater Morocco. Okay, so our national government is called USAR, United States of America Republic. So this would be the national government of the American landmass, the highest government. Underneath that would then be the federal government, which belongs to the corporation called the United States, the feds. That would be their highest government. So you have the national government, which is the sovereign government of this landmass belonging to the indigenous peoples. Okay. That would be your government, so called black woman, so called black man. So you need to naturalize, repatriate, come back, and come back to your nation and build back into your nation. All right. After underneath the federal government, it would be national, federal, then it would be state, and then it would be county or municipal. All right. So that's the hierarchy of how governments work. So your government would be the highest. So the next point that I want to make to you is this government that I just described to you and the hierarchy that I just described to you is beyond what your ancestors could have dreamt of. Not your far distant ancestors who knew who they were. I mean, within the last 300 years, these ancestors not only were you had in the civil rights movement, okay, you had Martin Luther King and all these powerful civil rights activists who were fighting for civil rights. They were fighting to be a citizen, which means they were fighting to be a subject to a corporation on their own landmass that they own. So they were fighting to be debtors instead of fighting to be the creditors, which is bestowed upon them. That is their inheritance. So just think about what I'm saying. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. Think about what I'm saying right now. These activists were fighting for like that. You are all the way. You're all the way up.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
You're all the way up at the top of the totem pole. You went from being down here, being a nigga, to all the way up, the sovereign of the landmass. Just like that. As soon as you make the decision to repatriate with your nation instead of remaining a subject to a foreign government on your own landmass. So please listen to what I'm saying. Please understand what I'm saying. You being born at this point in time is critical. That's exactly why I told you you're unique. The journey that the Father had you go on was necessary. He didn't have Martin Luther King born in this time period. He had you born in this time period. Why? Why? He had you born through 2020. You went through 2020. You went through everything. You saw the birth of the internet. All right, you've seen it all. You've seen it all. And now you get to see this and be a part of it. Be one of the first ones stepping, okay? But you have to step. Nobody's going to do it for you. And if you don't do it, you're going to get stepped on by a foreign government. Everybody who doesn't repatriate with their nation, that leads I'm going to go into another point later. My next point is what we most definitely need is we not only need our people to repatriate back with your nation so you can build back into your nation and come back under the fold of your people, but we need people in our government to sit in these seats. Like I told you, we have the highest government of this landmass, and we got a lot of seats that need to be filled. There's so many of our people are educated. You're educated, more educated than what you think. You have enough tools in your bag to start building. If you didn't believe that, I'm sharing my belief with you. If you did not believe that, I'm telling you, we need men and women who are really ready to step. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need. If you want to just come and just be a part of your nation again, so that you righted the wrongs and you've broken the ancestral curses of your lineage, that's cool. You could just be a citizen. But if you're really trying to be a part of history, we need people who are willing to step and bring the kingdom of heaven down to earth. Because I'm gonna leave that point for the next point that I'm going to, because that also builds to my later point. So my next point is, so many of you are literal geniuses. You can just go on Facebook and you'll see a random post of like, oh, this person invented this, and this person invented this, and this person invented this. These are all so-called black people that you never hear about, and they invented these instrumental devices that we use on an everyday basis. So they got you thinking that we're not capable of adding to this modern civilization when it seems like we're the ones taking it by the horns? If you really just sit back and look at what's really going on. Okay, so we have more than what it takes to build a powerful nation. Our people, we're the ones that taught civilization to the rest of the earth. Okay, this is something that you'll learn when you begin to reclaim your history and learn about your ancestors. We're the ones that taught civilization, everybody. You just forgot. But we're out the womb now. We've had a government for 9 years. Now we're learning how to walk. Beyond learning how to walk, we're learning how to jog a little bit, sprint, hit a couple juke moves. Oh, oh, oh. All right. Now we're really doing stuff. But in order to really create rifts and shake the universe up the way we're supposed to in this time period that you're born into, you're going to have to step up. All right. Now we're going into my next point. In every field you could think of, our people, there's a genius in that field. There's a representative of our people in that field that's a genius. Not just meeting the average. I mean, literally at the top of that field. Even in the military. So what we need to do is we need to stop fighting on behalf of this foreign government in their senseless wars. Everybody knows that there's no reason why we should be fighting 80% of these wars that we fought with other nations. All right. If you repatriate, you're not going to be the one that's called to fight these senseless battles for them. Okay. So you need to understand that all these wars that we had, if there were no so-called black people fighting in these wars, right, we wouldn't have won them. It's not even an argument. So we need to take all these skills, take all of our intellectual prowess, everything that we're capable of, and use this to build up our nation lawfully. This isn't some group. We have a government and a state now. And it's the highest government of this landmass. You need to claim it. If you don't, you're tripping. Like I said, this is beyond the spectrum of your ancestors' thoughts. It's beyond that because your ancestors were lied to. They weren't even allowed to read. So they fully didn't know that they were Moors, even though they were closer to our distant ancestors who knew exactly who they were. You're born in this weird point in time where we're in the information age. So now you've been bestowed this information. And plus, a lot of the work has been done for you. Okay? So I guess that concludes everything that I had to say. Everything I had to impart onto you, brothers and sisters. The last point that I have is let's come together and this time never separate. Let's grasp hands. Let's build together. And this time, let's let our structures never fall. Let's let our infrastructures be impenetrable, unbreakable, unshakable. Okay? All right. Peace and love.